The car scene, like most other topics on social media, is flooded with the ultra-wealthy flaunting their million-dollar supercars, custom-built SEMA trucks, fully built and restored tuner cars, pretty much anything that people can never afford. Seeing this, many of the people that are just getting into cars end up believing that these are the pinnacle of cars, the thing that they should be striving towards for in their entire lives. But I'm here to tell you, this isn't what you should be striving towards. This is... This is a terrible car. It's slow, inefficient, unreliable. It's a pain to work on. The only real card this car has to play is luxury, which is a card it only really plays decently at best. The things I'm about to say aren't really that specific to this car, but to just cheap cars in general. The elephant in the room being that I paid $400 for this car. Now, when mom and dad were fresh out of high school, that wasn't really a big deal. $400 cars were a dime a dozen. You know, it was in the world of Big Macs being $1.50, milk being $1 a gallon, and a case of piss water being $5. Now, $400 damn near scrap price for a car. I mean, hell, when I got this thing, I immediately cut off the catalytic converter and got $120 for it just by scrapping it. After changing the front coils, they were burnt out. I got them from a junkyard, patching the radiator. That was spraying pretty much coolant everywhere, and fixing the hole that was in the exhaust from aforementioned cutting of the catalytic converter. I was into this car now for pretty much a grand total of $340. Anyway, why is a cheap, disposable joke of a car like this something that you should strive to own? Because it teaches you how to drive. And I don't mean pass the driver's test with flying colors, safely go from point A to B kind of driving. I mean it teaches you to drive. You see, pushing a car like this to its limits entails driving around a curvy low road with like maybe 10 miles above the speed limit. You learn traction, weight transfer, braking, all while barely breaking the speed limit. See, I have my fair share of cars that I worry about. I keep ceramic coated. I make sure they don't park where birds will shit on them. I never push them to red line. Never push them too hard. Never take turns a little too fast because, oh, I don't want to wreck it. It's worth something. Any car that has any real value will lead to that mindset with most level-headed people. Most level-headed people that aren't swimming in money. When you have a piece of shit that is worthless, you hate it, it's a terrible car. It encourages you to push it, right? You use every last ounce of power, you risk crashing it, whatever it takes to get this car to feel pain and to get you to feel that little bit of adrenaline. She takes a while to start, that's alright. Soft limited to 4, that's alright. So what exactly does $400 get you? Well, it gets you memory seats, first of all. Look at that. Digital climate control. An information center. OnStar in 2001. Even I'm impressed. AM/FM radio with a cassette deck and a CD player and a 12 CD changer in the trunk. Fake wood grain. Traction control. This surprised me actually in 2001. Automatic transmission. Heated seats that actually work. Center console with the finest GM build quality. Alright, that's enough. Cup holders that take a little bit of convincing to get out and convincing to get in too. A sunroof, and this really got me. Home link, okay. Garage door opener built in 2001. I'm impressed. Passenger temperature control. I don't think this works, but I'm impressed that it's there. All of this can be had for $400. So, I'll leave you with this. If you feel like you have an opportunity to get a dumpy little car like this one, you're gonna hate it. And it's gonna run like shit, and it's gonna drive like shit. But you're going to send that car to its grave. After you finally use up and drain every single ounce of life that car had left in it, taking it to the scrapyard will make you realize It taught you more than any fast, fancy, uber expensive, eye-catching car ever could have. And that, well, I'd say that's priceless. Oh, and if anybody's wondering why I'm saying to drive like an idiot and enjoy these cheap cars while driving like a grandma in the POV video, one, never record yourself driving like an idiot. That's not very smart. And two, I'm going to be selling this car for a bit of a profit after getting it fixed up. So, yeah. It shifts actually quite smooth for the mileage. Say what you will about the North Star Cadillac and the Oldsmobile 4.0 variety. It's a smooth engine. I'll give it that. Ignore the head studs and the blown head gasket, and you can't pull the engine out the top. And yeah, this isn't a very good engine. This is a terrible engine, in fact. That's all I got to say about the North Star Cadillac. And this is a 4.0. It's a little smaller displacement, but same block, pretty much. Same everything except for the displacement. I think they reduced the bore of the engine. I don't think they reduced the stroke. But terrible engine. No arguing that. Oh, they can make power if you fix these things. Yeah, but why would I use a North Star if I could use an LS? A North Star is larger than an LS. Its fuel economy isn't very good either. It doesn't even rev as high, at least from the factory. I see no use for the North Star engine's existence, and so does the general populace, because these cars have bottomed out in price and have been at rock bottom in price. Look at the North Star. I mean, look at this idle surge, man. Car barely wants to idle. I should address that before I sell this vehicle, shouldn't I? Let's put her in neutral. Oh, okay. There we go. But I guess all the, the bullshit luxury of early 2000s GM. Oh, controls on the steering wheel, digital stuff. Yeah, whatever. Car, I will say this. The car is quite comfortable. It's got a little bit of a boaty vibe going on, but not so much as the old 70s ones where it's difficult to... Oh, look at the fuel gauge. Look at that. Great. It has a full tank of gas in here. Came with a full tank of gas, actually, which I'm quite happy about. Where did I go? Where was I going with this? They're not as boaty as the boats of the 70s, but they're still quite comfortable, even in this worn out, rough shape that this one's in. It's still quite comfortable, other than the engine hesitating at low RPMs. But you give her a little fuel, and she opens right up. Pretty good power, too. Transmission shift's pretty healthy. For, General Motors' reputation with automatic transmissions in the 90s, I would say this one is faring fairly well. Again, I feel more comfortable taking these turns a little faster than I would in the Chrysler. On this, my 79 New Yorker. Obviously, suspension had gotten a lot better in the 20 years between those cars and this. Man, I'm stuck behind this guy this whole time, huh? Automatic transmissions are just so terrible, man. I'm sorry. I guess these older automatics are. I mean, you have to beg this thing to downshift, and it feels like it can drop one more gear, but it doesn't, just to spite you. See if we can get this thing to spin a little bit. Traction control off. Oh, come on. Didn't even do anything. V8, dude. Are you serious? Can't even spin the front wheels? It's disappointing. I had an automatic Dodge Stealth with a 3-liter V6 that would spin the front tires better than this. I mean, it would spin them at all. This thing doesn't do anything, man. You'd think that torquey V8 should be able to do stuff, but it can't. Yeah, the check engine light's on, but this thing, you know, it's nothing performance related. I mean, the engine's still got plenty of go, I guess. Maybe it is that. Maybe I can excuse it for that. Someone with an Oldsmobile Aurora that's in good shape with the V8. I wonder if these things actually do spin tires when they're not cooked, like this one is. I mean, look, $400, and the cruise control works. Everything in this car works, apart from the AC, but I just leak down test the AC system, and it doesn't even leak, so I might add a couple cans of Freon and get it running, too. Probably loses a little bit, but this thing probably hasn't been recharged since Obama was in office. Oh, that's a nice Accord. Yeah. I don't care. I'm gonna keep going. Go, 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 go. Oh, there we go. That was exciting. It doesn't even go past 5. It doesn't let you go past 5. There's 70. I mean, it doesn't. Why does it not like to shift? Like it shifts at maximum 5.5, but the red line goes so much higher. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the engine's in a limp mode. It doesn't feel like it's in a limp mode or anything, and I don't think it would shift to 5. Even if it was in a limp mode, it would probably shift at like 4 or something. I don't know. Also, this car has VIN matched ECUs. If you don't know what that means that I can't just pull out a computer out of a junkyard and pop it into this car, even if they're identical, because they're matched to the VIN. I have to re-flash it. Maybe I don't work on newer stuff, but that's stupid to me. Like, why can't I reflash why do I have to reflash my ECU? It's just ridiculous. Why do you have to make them VIN? You can make them model specific, that's understandable, but why do you make them VIN specific? Why can't I just take an ECU out of an identical car and just put it back in? I don't understand. See, it's kind of weird having people look at me with a GoPro on my head. It's kind of normal if you're driving a bit of an exotic car, but if you're driving something like an Oldsmobile Aurora, people are like, why do you have a GoPro on your head? And yeah, I kind of do look like an idiot right now. See, that was foot to the floor in first gear and it barely revved past 52. I don't get it. I'm surprised it still thinks my average miles per gallon is 14.8. Is it stuck at that? How would it be 14.8? I've been driving like an idiot. I don't think this is accurate. Oh. Yeah, it's probably not accurate. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe the shining star behind the North Star is fuel efficiency. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm just trying to give the North Star something, but there's nothing really to give it because it doesn't deserve anything. Sorry, but it's true, guys. The North Star's a garbage engine. This car would be such a good car if it wasn't, not such a good car, but it would be a halfway decent car. I guess these came with V6s. If this had the 3800 V6, this would be a half decent car. And I wouldn't be shitting on this car left and right, but I can't, with the mechanical uncertainty behind the North Star V8, it's just, I can't see myself having any confidence in this car. I'm surprised it's made it this far. I wouldn't like to see the previous owners' service records. From that to the shitty cooling systems too. I mean, it's just asking to blow a head gasket every 50,000 miles. And then guess what? Oh, you're pulling out the head studs? It pulls out the threads with them because General Motors didn't account that aluminum is a softer metal than steel, cast iron, whatever. For reference, these are full aluminum engines, aluminum block, aluminum head, which wasn't really out of this world technology in 2001 or whenever this engine came out. Is it 94 or whatever? But to GM, apparently they didn't understand that let's put in, you know, finer and or larger head studs into this aluminum engine and not treat aluminum as if it's cast iron.